Alrighty then. So you may wonder, why am I out here setting up my two tents? My TarpTent Rainbow right here, and my TarpTent Moment DW Sil Nylon right over here. Well, the reason I'm doing this, up on this beautiful Max Patch ball, I have to say, isn't this wonderful? Isn't this wonderful? I love this place. It's fairly close to where I live now. It's about an hour of really torturous, really torturous driving, but you know, whatever. It's better than a highway. So anyways, back to the subject at hand. I had received some questions from viewers, and one guy in particular was wondering, he was comparing these two tents. He found himself in the same position that I was in a couple years ago, and he was questioning which one to get because they both seem like great tents. Well, they both are great tents, but they have their pros and cons, like everything else in the world. Anyway, he was a rather tall guy, 6'5", and so, you know, he has a lot of concerns. Nothing fits this guy, unfortunately. You know, he has a lot of problems with that, I'm sure, in his life. I worked in retail for 20 years. People on the extremes have a really hard time getting sizes. You know, it's really difficult. Everything, sleeping bags, tents, shoes, everything. So I feel for the guy. So I thought, you know what, let's do it. Let's do a video, and everybody can get an idea of, you know, real hard facts, right? You know, so bear with me. There we go, in out of the wind. Okay, so what I've got here is my Nemo Tensor, the very popular sleeping pad, and you know, people kind of know how big it is. It's about 6 feet long and it's 20 inches wide and 3 inches thick, right? So we all know that. So it's a good place to start. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take the phone off the tripod just for a sec. Sorry. There you go. Because I want to move around a little more freely. So let's see if I can do this with my tape measure. That's good enough. Okay, so typically I'm going to have about 10 inches or so to the end of the wall here. You got this little thing that holds it up. Don't forget those. You got about 10 inches there, and easily, you know, 8 to 10 inches all the way around every side. It's really palatial, and I do have to say, you can sit right up in it. It's very nice, very livable. I've got my you know, inner liner thing here. If you didn't have that in, you'd save a few ounces and you'd get a little bit more headroom. Okay, so that's another concern. I've never really felt that I was really happy that I had that liner in. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I guess it's doing its job. I don't know. So, you know, you may want to go without it, frankly. If you really need that extra headroom, I'm going to go without it. I bought it because I'm always up on these mountaintops and I'm always in the clouds. So a little extra condensation protection I thought was a good idea for me. So that's up to you, though. Now, again, where's my tape measure? Over here. Okay, so now with 10 inches at that side, I've got about 10 inches at this side. So realistically speaking, you could, you know, if this pad is 6 feet long. This gentleman's going to be longer than that. He's got probably 20 inches almost over to here. Let's just do it this side. It's going to be easier. All right. So we're just about touching in the back. And we've got about 14, 15, 16 inches here. So for him, this would actually work out pretty well, I think. Now, here's another thing that I learned. It's a single wall. You know, this wall here is the outside of the tent. There's no mesh in between. There's no nothing. And the door here is the same idea. You've got the inner wall bug net on this side, and has a very generous vestibule here. Here's my leg. I was going to throw my pack, and I'll do another shot with my pack in the thing. But it goes all the way from my knee to there. And I have size 13 feet too, so they're fairly big. But that's, you know, a good almost 18, 20 inches, something like that, before it hits the wall here. You really have so much room in here. You could easily store your pack anywhere in here. Just one person. Two caveats to this tent. A couple of caveats. Number one, the floor is really slippery. When I first got this pad, I was surfing on this floor, just unbelievably. I couldn't handle it. I could not handle it. But eventually it kind of wore in, I guess. I don't know. I put some silicone dots on the bottom. It really didn't do anything. So, I don't know. Maybe I just sleep better. I don't know. But that's just one thing that kind of annoyed me. Here's another thing that is a constant with this tent. You notice that we've got this mesh here between the bathtub floor and the outer tent canopy, actually. So it's there all the time, which helps to make this tent very breezy and very little condensation and very comfortable in a lot of warm weather conditions. Warm weather, not too windy. This is the tent. Got it? Brutal winds, cold, no. There are better choices. But for most people, if you're in a relatively protected area and you're not in January or December, this tent will be just fine. And it's so livable. It's really hard to, it's so lightweight and livable too. That's the real thing. Its space per pound of weight is amazing. So what I've done with these things here is I'll just stick like whatever stuff sacks I've got. I'll just stick them in there, especially around my head. I don't really like breeze on my head when I'm sleeping, unless it's like 100 degrees in tropics maybe. But in general, I don't. So what I would do is I just, whatever I've got, and just stick it in those kind of gullies. And hey, no, it's better than a tarp. It's better than in many tents, but it is breezy. And really, that's kind of about it. Easy to get in and out of. Another viewer had asked me about the drip line from the zipper up on top here and to the actual body of the tent. Unfortunately, right about here, straight down from the drip line. So it does go in your tent just a bit. It's easy enough to get in, so it doesn't get much water in, but in a heavy rain, you may get some water in your tent if you have to go in and out. I've never had a leak anywhere on the seams or anything else. It's just, occasionally if you have to go in and out and it's pouring rain, you may get some drips inside your tent. So leave this area kind of clear of, down clothing, especially stuff like that. The other issue I had is this. I found that if you point the back wall downhill, you can end up sliding out the back window like that. There was on their forum, on TarpTent's forum, they said make sure you pull those two stakes from that corner and that corner. Make sure you pull those really tight. And that keeps that wall vertical, keeps it from collapsing. So I did that, and that did help a lot. And then I've just learned basically that for the best pitch, I put it so that the front door is downhill, so that you naturally would roll towards the door instead of away from it. So those two things just really, did everything. It really made everything just fine. So you can see my, just to kind of wrap up here, my guy line system that I built in. I've mentioned this several times. You can do this or not, whatever, it's up to you. They have this ribbon here already built in. You could run a string right through that. I put this extra nylon on here just for a little extra give in high winds. And then I make basically a W, and up to the one that's in the middle, and then down to that one. That one's a little difficult because you have to get in and out there. So what I did is I made it so that you can actually pull that out and slide it over there more if this is in the way. It just depends on weather. And if I was going to be up here tonight or in a place like this tonight, I would very definitely deploy these. Yeah, very definitely. It's just for a feeling of security. And then here's the back wall. They've got this is their line here. I built this one in here, goes all the way up, ties up in there, okay? Just to give a little bit, just so this wall doesn't collapse, give it a little bit of structure in case you get a really wicked, side wind, which up here you will. It's not a question of if, it's a question of what time is it going to arrive. Isn't that beautiful? It's just beautiful. Okay, well, so that's it for the rainbow. I think we got it pretty well mapped out, I hope. Generous headroom, can easily sit up. I'm 6 feet tall, 175 pounds. Plenty of room inside the tent. Plenty of room to store your backpack in here to keep all that space, forgot it, open inside the tent. And then there's actually enough room right in this area here where if you really need to, you can cook. Not the best idea, you got to be careful if you do that. You really should be safe about things like that, but it does work. You can do it. So, okay, so there's the rainbow at 2 pounds 4 ounces. This is where it's been measuring for like last several years, so I would trust this. Oh, and yes, just to reiterate, that's carbon poles. That's the liner installed. That's the upper pocket loft thing installed. Several, 5 or 6 extra shepherd hook stakes, and about 30 feet of UWimpy cord. So 2 pounds 4 ounces, not bad, and all that space. Woohoo! And relatively cheap too, comparatively. A good deal in my book. Okay, so now on to the Moment DW. Now both of these are sil nylon tents. There we go, 2 pounds 4. Yeah, exactly. So they're both weighing at 2 pounds 4 ounces. This one is also including solid liner, the carbon arch pole, the carbon cross pole, 4 or 5 extra J hook stakes, and the yellow UWimpy cord that goes with it from my guy out system. So 2 pounds 4 and all that. All right. And still a good deal, especially by today's standards. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the Moment DW in our comparison here, our tarp tent comparison. Again, I have also included my guy outs that I put on here. I've made them adjustable. One end is adjustable, the other end is fixed. And then it just loops through there. Now, typically, if I was going to leave this set up, I would, and on all of these, I would push that all the way to the ground. I like shepherd hook stakes because in really wicked wind, you push those all the way to the ground and they will hold your line from coming out. Other stakes that don't do that, I've had them rip right out, basically. That's why I only use shepherd hooks now for this purpose. And I also, on this tent, all around the perimeter, you have little places to guy out. And I did that, and then here's the front one here. So one of the beautiful things about this tent is the 2 doors and the waterproof zippers. That's great. And I've got the solid liner in here now. I'm just hand holding this right now. So you know what? I'm going to put it on the tripod for just a second. All right. So,
So both of these canopies, where is it? It's way up here. Kind of a pain in the butt. You know, kind of a pain. And you have to be careful it doesn't pop out. But it does get completely out of your way. Let's go up here. Okay. That's pretty good. It's not wonderful, but it's pretty good. But the beautiful thing about this tent is that there's two doors. So check it out. So this is the windward side. Now, if I was going to stay here all night, I probably would have put that end a little bit more to the left and angled this one a little bit out back to put the point of it towards the wind. It's typically how you'd want to do it. The smallest end, the foot end, is going to go towards the wind. Yeah, not the broad side like this. But for now, I wanted the light. So basically. So on my other videos, you've seen that you have adjustable sides in here. And I like the most space inside. I'll bring stuff inside first. Because the way these doors are, we have the wind coming this way. So you're a little bit sheltered on this side. If the wind's going to be coming this way, you'll be sheltered here. And then the opposite doors, just the opposite. Let's go around. And then that door is going to open on this side, just like the other side. So in that case, in this case, you're going to have wind coming in this way. So I wouldn't use this door. Basically, I would use this as the storage area. I put my pack right in there. I'm not going to be coming in and out. It's hitting, the wind is hitting it, so I want to be sheltered from the wind, so this is not good. So that's where I would put my pack. Also, this is sort of uphill. I find, again, that it's better if you come out on the downhill side. It's just easier. You just sort of naturally fall, or naturally falls open, or falls out, whatever you want to call it. And you've got the little pegs. So, that's the inside. There you go. Without anything in it, and you know, it's kind of a mess. We just set it up. But that's pretty much how that looks. Okay, so here we are inside now. It's a little different than the Rainbow, right? Yeah, it's kind of small inside, especially with this fabric liner. With the mesh liner, it's the same exact dimensions, but it's different because you could see right through this. So it looks like it's not there. So it doesn't give you the feeling of like, gee, that's kind of close. Whereas this one, it kind of does, you know. Kind of gives me that feeling, but you have to just sort of just go to sleep. You just have to say, don't worry about it, you know. So what I'm going to try and do, I guess I could just do a selfie like that. Really, before I go doing anything kind of crazy, again, the pad is touching this seam at the other end, at the head of the thing, head of the tent. And we've got roughly 13, 14 inches. There's 12 and then whatever, you know, maybe 13, 14 inches. So not anywhere near as long as the Rainbow, unfortunately. And then this area is sort of tight. The thing that I wish that there was a better way to do it is a way to hold these corners out right here. As you see, you know, I mean, somehow you can get more space there, but I just don't know how to do that. And that would really give you room in this tent where you need it, frankly. Okay, now what I'm going to do here. All right. So let's see how this goes. No, I don't know which is. This is down. This is the downhill side. I should have looked better. But here, I'll take the hat off. Okay, so Ooh, this is really, no, I'm going to flip around. Sorry, this is too much. All right, we got that figured out. Now I'll take my hat off and take my glasses off. And then see if I can just lay down here. Okay. So I've got a 3-inch Nemo tensor, and then that Outdoor Vitals, a couple inches for their pillow. It's not really a very tall pillow. 3 inches for that. And as you can see, I'm really pretty much right up against the fabric. So if you do have severe claustrophobia, this tent may not be the best choice for you. Or if you're really, really tall, it just may not work for you, unfortunately. And as I've said, this is and so you can sit up just fine in the middle. It's plenty of room. I'm 6 feet tall again, and I've got plenty of room up here, right? I've got 5 or 6 inches. So if I was that 6'5" gentleman, this tent could work, but it would be tight. It would definitely be tight. It's like those shoes that you really like, but they're a little too tight. So you wear like really thin socks with them, just hoping they'll be fine. And after about a year or two of all the pain and torture that you've gone through trying to cram your feet into that little shoe, you realize I should never have bought those shoes. They were just too much money, but I love them. It's kind of what we got here, I think. It's a great tent. But it's tight at these ends here. And now when I had my 1-inch thermarest, my self-inflating thermarest, 1 inch thick, it was never an issue. It's only when I started getting into these, air mattresses, 2, 3 inches, 4 inches thick now, some of them, that it's an issue. So it's kind of funny. Now again, I was going to show you some of the other stuff here. Let me flip back around. Hang on a second. So again, and I've got size 13 feet. So those are some big dudes, right? I used to be a powerful swimmer. I guess that's where my kids got it. So 3-inch mattress, size 13s, and I'm kind of touching. Your head wouldn't be, but if you're Shaquille O'Neal, maybe. But the rest of us, no, you're good. Again, so what I love about it. Oh, another thing too, excellent ventilation, and also because it's fabric all along the edges here, you don't get any kind of breeze on your face. It doesn't feel like it's like with the Rainbow. Definitely, you could feel it like on your face and all that, and it was kind of unpleasant for me, anyways. You have ventilation up here, and a great thing about this tent, gotta say, they were really thinking 2-way zippers. So you can open that and just let that open. That really helps tremendously, especially with condensation. It's really amazing. So one of my favorite features of this tent, and there are many, but this is one of them. And I was thinking, I don't know if you could see this little hook here, right? I bet that is for an inside guy system, like in really heavy winds. I bet because there's one on each side. So that's the outside. That's obviously the where the arch support is, right there, right? And then this little hooky thing, and that comes across right to the other side. Where is it? This one right there. Right. And I bet it's there to put a string right through and make like a guy system through here. I don't know what else it would be for. Would be before. What it would be before. So that's kind of it. I could do another measurement, but I think it's a good comparison. You can see both of them together, and the measurements are pretty obvious. The benefits, the sizing, it's pretty obvious, which is what's going to do what for you. This is an all-weather machine, pretty much, especially with that other arch pole that goes on there and the solid interior. It makes it a pretty darn good cold weather tent. Now the canopy, the fly, does not go all the way to the ground. So in really windy, snowy conditions, it'd be good to kind of build up the snow around the bottom of the canopy so you don't have blowing stuff coming in. But you know, this with the way this with the way the way they have the inner tent with their venting, it keeps most of that. It would keep most of that out anyway. All right. Okay, so just to, you know, to really finish it off, I've got about a foot on this side, and on this side here, I've got a lot less really, about 6-8 inches. Whoa. About 6 to 8 inches. And I'm touching on the bottom, and I'm almost touching on the top. So, yeah. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. And I hope this answered some questions for people out there. You know, they're both great tents, as I've been saying all along. They have their pros and cons, and we do the best we can, right? But thanks for joining me at top of Max Patch. I'll give you a little view of the scenery again. Yeah. Anyways, thanks again for joining in. If you happen to like it, that's great. Like, share, subscribe, do all those good things. And have a great day on the trail. See you on the trail down the bottom. Check it out there.